Hello. Welcome to another installment of the Central American Group's podcast, in which experts discuss topics related to doing business in Costa Rica, El Salvador, and the rest of the region.
Hello, and welcome to another episode, or shall I say installation, of the Central American Group series of podcasts in which we speak with individuals that have expertise in doing business in Costa Rica and El Salvador, and for that matter, the rest of Central America. Today we have a gentleman with us by the name of Juan Carlos Corrales. Juan Carlos, could you please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and about the company you represent?
Hi, Stephen. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invite. I'm Juan Carlos Corrales. I'm partner and project manager for a construction company here in Costa Rica named Clean Construction. We've been doing business in construction for about 11 years, focused mainly in the dedication of doing development of industrial projects with the specific needs for clean environment rooms, specialized in manufacturing of components and finished goods of the medical devices, technology, pharmaceutical industry here in Costa Rica. So I'm a civil engineer and been working with the company since its startup back in 2011. And we have been operating as clean construction here in Costa Rica in this specialized market, but we have professionals with experience of more than 35 years on board with us. So we have quite a few good people on board with the company and doing this.
Well, listen, obviously you've been involved with industry in Costa Rica quite a bit. And from your perspective, why should a company think about putting a manufacturing operation in Costa Rica?
I believe there are several key factors that position Costa Rica as an interesting option for any type of international investment. First of all, I would say that it's a country that it's politically stable, with a clear understanding of the importance of competitive economic policies to attract foreign investment. I would say that Costa Rica is privileged on location as well, being such a small country with relatively quick access to exports in both the Pacific and the Caribbean, as well as a good placement in air logistics from San Jose, the capital. I think that gives the country a privileged scenario to improve the feasibility of doing exports and imports of different goods here. And third, I would say that education. Here, the country has understood that since many years ago that the investment in education is key to generate a solid, capable, and professional workforce to attend the increasing demand of present and hopefully future market needs. And I think that the country keeps working on these three aspects continuously, and that gives us a good positioning for that type of operations.
You know, it seems that over the last 2 decades or so, life sciences and medical devices have really assumed a prominent place in the Costa Rican manufacturing industry. Do you have any insights that you could share with us as to why that's been the case?
From my experience, what I've seen in the last decade, I would say that it's mainly related with the third point that I just mentioned in the question before. I think it's mainly related to the high quality of labor force that we've been able to produce somehow here in the country. In Costa Rica, any company, I would say, it can find a high rate of professionals, bilingual educated workforce, and prepared for different trades that the industry requires. The country itself, I believe, and also the private sector in general, have invested in generating programs to educate most of the population, and mainly the lower income segments of the society here. that don't have access to university degrees, for example, so that they can have access to training and preparation in technical and technology-based trades. And I think that gives us a lot of exposure in different trades that are required by the life science sector in manufacturing their components. Therefore, those companies can find prepared labor in all the organization levels, since floor production to management.
I think it's important to note that over the last couple of decades, Costa Rica has been the second largest exporter of medical devices in Latin America. Only Mexico is above them. So there's been an awful lot of success. What can you tell us about the importance of construction project development? It's a key part of establishing operations in a country, and that's what your company specializes in. So what insight can you give us with regard to its importance?
Yes, thank you for the question. It seems that when you think of transferring operations to a new country, usually you're always thinking on the process part, manufacturing, all those aspects related to the production of the particular good that any company will bring here to the country, or transfer from the States or wherever they are moving their operations. However, generally, to access the different benefits provided by the free trade zone regime here in Costa Rica, which is what most companies come looking for, besides the labor that we just talked about, the country offers an incentive for this foreign investment, but it's also required that there is an investment early on in the transfer process from each of these companies. So the construction project development usually is a great part of this first investment. And I have seen in my years of experience that some companies tend to overlook this opportunity. And at the end of the day, all the buildings built and the tenant improvement projects that we manage are a needed good for the proper operation and the production of the finalized goods that the company will produce here. So having the project on the scope since the beginning, and knowing that this is an important part of the investment that you can back up with our institutions here in Costa Rica to get the approval of the free trade zone regime, I think it's an important point to have in the radar.
Given you do a lot of work with life sciences and medical device manufacturers, I'm imagining that you must install quite a few clean rooms, and I'm wondering what kind of advice you could lend to people that do need that technology installed in their building.
Sure. Well, from my professional perspective, I could say at least there are three important aspects to consider once you're trying to develop a project here in the country with this type of needs. First, location. I think being established in a high quality, client-driven park is really important to support the future operation of the facility. Having electrical power redundancy for the project and good accessible utility services, I think that's key. Time, I would say it's the second most important aspect. Remember that we have been doing these types of projects since the 1990s. However, accessibility to equipment, architectural elements, and certified clean room materials is not something that we can achieve usually overnight here. It takes time to bring all the stuff imported. So it is really important to plan ahead the development of these projects as much as possible. I always know that, well, I've noticed that always there's a really constrained time span for the projects, but as much time as you can get to develop it, the better. And also on the same note, not many companies are aware that the requirement for building permits here in the country usually takes some months to obtain. So getting prepped for that construction in early stages of that transfer or establishing process is key to meet the timing goals of any project. And the last one, which it may sound funny, I would say it's climate. We're known in the country of having one of the most enviable climates in the world. It's really stable and everything, but most clean room operations required humidity control. And I have seen in all my years that many companies overlook this aspect. Controlling humidity in a tropical country where you have an outside air that it's usually over the 70% relative humidity in accordance to the inside can be a little bit tricky. So this is a super important aspect to be aware of during early stages of the design for the project, because if not, it can become a costly headache down the road of the process.
Well, those are good tips. So I imagine in addition to actually doing the project development and the installation of clean rooms, you help firms and guide them through the process of getting the needed permits and licenses. Is that another thing that you offer as a service?
Yes, sir, we do. We give 3 types of different services. We can do turnkey projects. We can do project management for the projects, and we can do design and build services. So when we are hired for that part, the design and build type of contract, we usually do that. How do you say, when you accompany your client through the whole process since the beginning to the end?
One-stop shop.
Sorry?
You mean a one-stop shop, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, it's been very interesting hearing about your activities in Costa Rica and your explanation of the benefits of establishing manufacturing facilities. There has been also informative. You know, usually when we publish these podcasts to the internet, we get questions from people that have listened to them who want to know more specific information. So how would somebody that has a question that you might be able to answer get in touch with you?
You may contact us to our company email. You can find that contact information in our website. I can send you that info, or if anyone wants to access the website directly, you can do it through www.cleancocr.net. I'll send you that link so that you can share it with your audience, and you can find there our headquarters phones and our direct email so that we can share any information or service that you may require.
Okay, we'll include a link to your website with the transcript that's below the audio file on the website, and I'm guessing you have a LinkedIn profile?
Yes, I do. I can share that with you as well.
Yeah. So if you want to get in touch with Juan Carlos, those are the ways that you can do it. Juan Carlos, I want to thank you for joining me today, and hopefully we'll have other opportunities in the future to talk more.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you for listening. Sign up to receive the Central American Group's quarterly newsletter by visiting www.thecentralamericangroup.com.